All right, this is gonna be brief, but I want to share this with everybody. I just want to encourage everyone, and many of you know this already, but just a reminder is just do not take everything you see and hear at face value. Like, don't take that as that's the end all be all. You know what I mean? You know, when you hear things, you know, you got to filter it and ask God for discernment. That's why I'm constantly talking about reading your word and cultivating your relationship with the Most High God, and, you know, praying and meditating and taking quiet time away from social media. I love social media. I believe it's used to make good people better and bad people worse. Okay, like they say, money makes good people better and bad people worse. Well, that's the same way I think with social media. It's dependent on how you decide to use the tool. You know what I mean? But what I'm saying is, you know, you just can't take everything as face value. You can't look at you know, even some of these online influencers. Okay, whether they big, small, medium, whatever. You can't take their word for everything just because it might sound good, it might look good, or they might have X amount of followers or whatever it may be. You just can't take everything at face value. You got to take it up with the Lord. You got to use discernment nowadays, big time, okay? Because there's so much confusion right now. It was a post I had shared on Facebook, and then I went back and deleted it. But it was I had shared that, you know, a lot of real people, you know, not even on social media, meaning they not even sharing their every move in life and, you know, their family life and everything with the world, probably because of, you know, how, you know, some people's hearts is. But a lot of people, you know, they not even out here, you know, showing, you know, what they doing and how they living their life. I mean, if you go on social media, let social media tell it. It ain't no prosperous marriages out here. Ain't no good people out here if you let social media tell you. But I was sitting here thinking, I'm like, I know some really good people that got prosperous businesses, marriages, children. I mean, they got their family in order and they ain't nowhere near on social media. You know what I mean? So, you know, that's why I say you can't just go off of social media. But at the same time, I also know people that's not on social media, you know, or know of people. Not going to say I know people, but I know of people that might be just spectators on social media, okay? They just going around, you know, some people just, you know, going around, see what somebody else is doing, how they living their life. And, you know, some people, depending on their heart, you know, might be looking with good intentions or bad intentions. But what I'm saying is, you know, you got some spectators on social media too, meaning they not necessarily posting, but they on social media still. Trust and believe, they still on there, but they not necessarily, you know, posting and interacting with everybody. I don't know. So anyways, I just wanted to share with y'all to just not, you know, take everything at face value. And also, you know, everybody's situation is different. You know, when you have your own relationship with God, you got to know what God shared with you. You know what I mean? Like, I was listening to a woman one day, and it sounded good. She was like, you know, why would God have you doing this? Or why would God have you going through that? You know, God is not going to have you going through this and that. And, you know, it sounds good. It sounds like, oh, yeah, God wouldn't do this. He wouldn't do that. But, you know, our thoughts are not his thoughts and our ways are not his ways. You know, some of us are going through things because God is allowing us to go through things. Like, let's be real. You know, it's a guy in the Bible, and I had looked it up before I got on this video. His name is Hosea. Hosea was a prophet that God used in a very unique way, it says, okay? And what it says is he married a woman named Gomer. Gomer was a prostitute, you know, she was a harlot. And he married her, and she was unfaithful, went out, and I think she multiplied and had children with other men, if I'm not mistaken, or maybe she didn't, but she did step out on her marriage. She was very unfaithful and everything, and he made her work with his wife, and God told him to marry this woman. And I know somebody be like, well, why would God, you know, have him, you know, marry this woman that's going to be unfaithful and that's going to go out and, you know, be a prostitute and, you know, be unfaithful? Like, why would God do that? And God did it. It says in my study Bible, I don't have my study Bible with me, but it's in a way for God to show how the world, how his people how the people treated God. Like, God was like, hey, this is how I feel. This is how I feel like y'all been unfaithful to me after I gave y'all this, I gave y'all that. And y'all went around and y'all started serving other guys. Y'all started, you know, idolizing other beings and idolizing, you know, the trees or the statues or whatever it may be, This is how God feels. So he had the prophet marry a woman just so he can get a feel for how God feel. So sometimes when you're going through things, sometimes maybe God just wants you to know how he feel. You know what I mean? I know me personally, you know, when I had finally, you know, made my decision that I was going to, you know, come to God, you know, it's some days I cried and I was like, God, like, forgive me. Like, forgive me for being a fool. Even, and you know, some people be like, oh, well, you didn't know any better. Yeah, you didn't know any better, but still, you know, how many times have we turned our back on God? How many times we told God we weren't going to do something and then we turn around and we do it again? How many times we ask God to get us out of a situation and he get us out the situation only for us to go back to it? You know what I mean? So, like I said, you can't take everything at face value. I know some things might happen in our lives that might seem uncomfortable. And it's kind of like, well, why would God do this? Why would God do that? You know, ask God. Talk to him. Have a relationship. In every situation, ask God, say, God, what are you trying to show me right now? What are you trying to teach me in this lesson? And I know it can be hard sometimes. But the reason why I'm saying this is because you can go on social media and you can hear somebody else saying something like in this example about, you know, this guy, Hosea, marrying Gomer, who was a harlot. So, you know, on the outside looking in, somebody be like, well, why, God wouldn't have you marrying her. God wouldn't have you doing this. That's on the outside looking in. That's why I say our thoughts are not his ways and our thoughts are not his thoughts and our ways are not his ways. That's why I'm saying we can't take everything at face value. We got to go to our maker. We got to go to our maker and get confirmation from him. We got to know what we know. It's okay to listen to other people and get confirmation, or anything you get from anybody should be just confirmation or maybe some revelation or whatever it may be, but you would know God to give you a nudge in your spirit. You don't want to be following nobody. I don't care if they're on social media or not. You don't want to be following them with the sake of thinking everything they say is true. Just because it sounds right don't mean it's always right, okay? And, you know, a lot of guys, people, you know, we're not really concerned with being right. We concerned with, you know, being what's right in the sight of God. You know what I mean? So I hope that made sense. But anyways, I'm going to leave that right there because I got appointments to get to. I got appointments to get to. But I wanted to get on here and share this with y'all because it was on my heart. And I was like, I'm going to try to articulate this the best way I can articulate it. Because, you know, when I get really excited and passionate about something, sometimes I can just, you know, go into a blank because I'm so anxious and so excited. So anyways, y'all, I hope y'all are having a great and amazing day. Those who are going to get it is going to get it. All right. I'll see y'all in the next video.